Yeah, so go hit OK.
I used to not be able to donate because I wasn't 18 years old. Now I can't donate because I don't have my own credit card.
Well, yeah, it's all about shoring up finances first.
And then try to take it out, maybe.
Well, yeah, you don't want any unscrupulous donating.
Yeah.
Also, have you heard of how rare cases of voter fraud is? Yeah, voter fraud is extremely rare. This isn't the 19th or 20th centuries. Elections are now much more better regulated, so voter fraud isn't really a problem.
Whoa.
It's just inefficiency.
I really liked going to Take Back the Night. That was a good assembly. The Solidarity Walk was good too. And you know what else I did? I shaved my head at an event to support cancer research. Yeah.
No biggie. So, yeah, sorry guys. I went to the women's convention.
Okay.
So it was. Sorry, it's not gonna come up. So.
You just turn it
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to hold it sideways?
Yeah, we had to read that the other day.
Then a white style.
I think a little progressive.
Yeah, as long as I've had such. I'm not a technology person, so. And I'm like getting reacquainted with it because of college now. So, okay. Does anybody know the background of the Women's March and the convention?
Are you talking about that? Are you talking about that massive march that was occurred shortly after Donald Trump's inauguration?
Yeah, it was the day after the inauguration.
Yes, it was.
I think a couple girls went to that. Yeah, down in DC, right?
I think it was. I didn't go to DC.
Okay. So I went to DC. It was, I don't know, 800. I think it ended up being 800,000 women, or everybody was there. Sorry.
Allies.
Sisters and brothers. So background basically was that a Facebook post went viral that basically said, you know, Trump was elected, this is crazy, we need to like stand up against this. So these four ladies, Tamika Mallory, Bob Land, Carmen Perez, and Linda Sarsour, got together. They were actually, they're like, if you look into their history, they're longtime activists in New York City area. So I had never actually heard of them, and until the Women's March, and there were a lot of people that spoke at the Women's March that I was just like, you know, I had never heard, and they were captivating, and these were four of them. And actually, I would have listened to them all day long as opposed to like some of the other people that were standing up. But anyway, so after the big message that came out of the Women's March was, what are you going to do now, kind of thing, like, this can't just be it. We can't get 800,000 people to kind of storm DC and not do anything after. So the big push, Michael Moore, I think, had great advice. You know, basically call your congressman. And I have pictures from the march that I wanted to show that. But the big theme of the march was to engage, resist the resistance. You know, that's how the resistance came to be. Run for office, donate, write letters, call, rally. So right around the Women's March, I connected with Low Progressives and Nikki, and I was captivated by them, immediately was drawn to them. So, and started meeting with them, and we've done a lot of this. Nikki, we've done all of this. So Nikki's actually at the forefront of all this, and so I've shared some pictures of us doing a lot of that. Picture of Kirsten, and Michelle Schoeneman ran out in Erie County and lost.
She's one of the ones who started the Citizens Against Collins and got those big billboards and stuff up for him, and gave him finally a run for gave Erie County a run for their money.
So yeah, like the big push from the Women's March was resist, the resistance. It was what came out of that. So. I had a couple of examples of successes of the resistance, which was we blocked the repeal and replace of the Obamacare bill, and we blocked the travel ban, and a lot of resignations have come out of this as well. We're getting more information about some of this. I tend to be very non-politically correct, but I call them what they are, scumbags, in the Trump administration, that sort of thing. So the Women's Convention, or Women's March, kind of did like a chapter 2 to what is it looking like? Let's check in with each other. So 4,500 women and men showed up, paid like $300 to go. This huge convention center in Detroit, Michigan. Detroit, Michigan is a totally underrated city. If you've never been there, go there. It's definitely gets a bad rap. So I appreciated that they picked that city because as a white girl from upstate New York, I was like, I don't go to Detroit. It's just like, it sounds awful. But it's really actually a very cool city that's having a lot of shitty things happen to them as a result of people being greedy and people not thinking about other people. So I had I wanted to share a list of, I don't know where I put it now, of kind of what that's not what I'm looking for. Where did I put it? So we're constantly looking at like what is the Democrats. What do they stand for? What do progressives stand for? And I think the Women's March has done a really good job of establishing what that is. It's under this computer. So I kind of wanted to share that with you guys because I think they captured it beautifully. And this is really what we should stand for, the Democrats, the progressives. And there's like values, it's values and principles. And this was what was kind of hammered into our head when we were at this women's convention. A lot of people talking on panels about these things and what can we do to promote these things in our community, because that's where it matters. From the ground up, it's going to matter. It doesn't matter what they're doing from the top down because it doesn't, we have to do it. So basically their guiding vision is women's rights are human rights, gender justice is racial justice, is economic justice. Women have the right to live full and healthy lives. We believe in accountability for police brutality and racial profiling and ending that. We believe in dismantling gender and racial inequalities within the criminal justice system, which is huge, I think, and that was the big thing too, like everything is connected. We are not a single issue person. Everything impacts us. And I think that's what happens with identity politics is we become, get set on one thing. And my thing really was women's rights and abortion rights. And I was like, that's the only thing I care about. I don't care about climate change. I don't care about racial injustice. Those things don't impact me, but really they do. So this theme of intersectionality came up, and I don't know if I said it right. Did I say it right? Yeah, so that when one group is being oppressed, it's going to ultimately impact you. So that was a really strong theme that we got out of it. And there were a couple of panels that discussed, as a white woman, as white women, how do we confront that? How do we deal with it on a local level? So that was amazing to see. And if you do have a chance to go on YouTube and anybody has video, Women's March has a great website. They have a great Facebook. Definitely take some time to get, because I definitely am not doing it justice. So, reproductive rights, gender justice, LGBTQIA justice, the economy, economics. That is probably, Nick kind of touched on it too, like that is the crux of what's going on here. We are not on their team and they don't want us in their club. But we're running the show. We buy their products and we take care of the less fortunate. So they screw with us a lot. If
public and private sphere, women were made to stay
exactly.
Inside,
yeah.
Men benefit from it.
If we went away, things would crumble. Yeah.
I mean,
so
you know,
Factual.
Yes.
Honestly, I was referred to during a local campaign repeatedly on both the Republican and some of the old school Democrats as the little blonde girl running for office, repeatedly by officials who are already in office. So yeah, you see that a lot, right down the whole lane. I'm sorry.
I really hope you run again.
I'm up for blood.
Yeah, and again, not an issue that I felt like impacted me. I'm a white girl that went to college and got her $55,000 a year job, and I didn't think it impacted me. But then I look around, like at my coworkers, and they're pumping their breasts at their cubicles, and they're being mocked for doing it, and they don't have a room to go to, and they're coming back 6 weeks after they've given birth with, again, I'm very crude and not political. I probably shouldn't run around.
No, don't be politically.
But their vaginas are hurting them. They have to sit on donuts. It's insane. When I really became woke and looked around at middle class white girls, we're being treated shitty too, you know? Not as, you know, shitty, but it's just, it was crazy when I became really woke to it. It was, and I angered a lot of women around me that were pumping their breasts at their desk. And I was like, this isn't right. And they're like, this is what I chose to do. And I'm like, well, where would anybody be if you didn't have babies? You know, so, I kind of confronted that, and I'm definitely being ostracized a bit for that, so that's upsetting on my end, but you see it in just those small circles. So, and this was a big thing. Equal pay, paid time leave, maternity leave, paternity leave, all things that are progressive goals. Kirsten Gillibrand's like at the forefront of it. And now you've got all this sexual harassment. Again, another issue that I feel like is so connected, because while my coworker is pumping her breasts in the next cubicle, my male coworker is mocking her for doing that. To me, that's a sexual harassment issue. So it's all connected, I guess is my point. And it's really sad to see it. And to see it on that scale, I can't imagine what women of color are dealing with, on a small scale, I do see it because I'm a caseworker and I'm dealing with poverty on a regular basis, and they're treated awful. full disclosure, I've treated them awful. I've had to revamp and change the way I treat people in my casework because of my wokeness, I guess. And I have very, very few, I don't have a lot of patience for the people around me that I'm working side by side with anymore. I'm having more patience with the people that are powerless in this situation. So, the Women's March and the Women's Convention, they're my people. They were my people. I was like, I'm around my people. We're all dealing with the same thing, and I think the message was strong. You know, we had, I wanted to highlight some of the speakers. Kirsten Gillibrand, if you can download her speech, it was amazing. It gives me chills thinking about it. She did an amazing progressive speech. Nina Turner, she was, if you ever see her, are you familiar with Nina Turner? She's amazing. She's on CNN a lot. They don't like to have her on a lot.
I know.
Okay.
She was a big forefront of Bernie.
She was a big Bernie girl. She was great. She did a lot of talk about universal health care and pushing that narrative. Maxine Waters was the woman that she was our girl. That's who we wanted to see. And Rosa Clemente, who I'd never heard about. Are you familiar with her? Because I'd never heard about her. Definitely follow her on Facebook. She's Puerto Rican and has a lot. She's very strong with her language, but she has a strong message about the Puerto Ricans and what they're dealing with, and the fact that we're not seeing a lot of what they're dealing with right now. Tamika Mallory was amazing as well, and her big message, I think, resonated with me as far as there was that whole kind of controversy about having Bernie speak at the Women's Convention. I would have loved to have seen Bernie. But a lot of people were upset about it. So Tamika actually came out and she said, if your feminism doesn't represent me if it's having to decide between Hillary and Bernie. And I felt like that was really cool to hear because you're hearing all this division within your own party because of this Bernie-Hillary craziness. So she had a really great message. Definitely follow these ladies on Facebook if you have the chance. I have more pictures. I talked a little about the intersectionality. There's a quote I found. There is no such thing as a single issue struggle because we do not live in a single issue. We do not live single issue lives. So, and then the big theme was confronting white privilege. And that has been difficult. It's really uncomfortable to do that. But it's imperative that we do. So
how do we do that?
I think it's becoming more knowledgeable in those issues of what people of color are dealing with, what women of color, like go to Black Lives Matter rallies, learn about what they're dealing with, go to churches.
How do I know when the next Black Lives Matter rally is?
They have Facebook page. Yeah.
There was a great
I've gone on their
on Facebook that they did not too long ago, and basically they took a bunch of students and they lined them up.
Yeah, and they said, if you have never had to go hungry, step forward, yeah. And that's a great example, and I actually just got through explaining to my 13-year-old this afternoon. We have a foster child with us right now. Well, she's not a foster kid, she's just living with us.
She's your kid.
She's another kid who just, she's trapped between several county social service groups right now, and basically nobody's handling her, so she's living with us. Unfortunately, she's living on my 13-year-old floor, and there's clothes all over, and you got two 13-year-olds in a room, and it's pretty bad. But so my daughter was throwing a fit this afternoon. She's like, I want her out. You don't understand. This is becoming ridiculous. And I said, I understand, but do you realize she has no place to go? I don't care if she has no place to go. I said, you've never gone to bed hungry. You've never had to want for clothes. You've never had to worry about how you were going to get to school tomorrow. You've never had to worry about whether you're going to participate in next season's sports or anything like that. I go,
She worries about that every day, on top of keeping up her grades and where she's gonna live tomorrow. I go, you need to be compassionate about that. And it's not that she didn't know it, but it didn't hit her. And I think that's a lot of white privilege too. It's not that we don't know that there's problems out there. It's just never affected us necessarily until we actually sit down and think about it and really put it into play. And so
I think that is the struggle though.
Yeah.
Like, how do we partner? How do we confront it, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling with that, I'll be honest. I don't know how. I don't know how, honestly. I'm learning as I go on so many levels. So
I think it's hard because we've been living in it so long.
yeah.
And now I think recently with like you said, millennials becoming, the majority voting bloc, the large voting bloc, a lot of people are like, okay, so millennials don't want to live the same way their parents were, and like white privilege, we want, equality for everyone. And so it's kind of hard when we ask a group of people who have always lived off of privilege to step out of that privilege and, I guess, give some of it away.
Yeah.
And how do we do that?
Yeah.
And I think that's the big question.
I think the big thing I took away too from it was that I have to let them lead too. They have to be the leaders on this. Me, I can tend to be a know-it-all, like I know everything kind of thing. And I think there's a humility that comes along with accepting that I came from some level of privilege just by being born white. And that you have to kind of accept that and follow the lead of those that have had to persevere just because they were born a certain color. So there were so many amazing women of color there that are doing such amazing things that I was almost like sad. Like, there were so many of these people here, and we ended up with Trump. How did that happen? Like, how did these people go so unnoticed? Because they're just amazing people. So I felt a lot of feelings while I was there. I felt guilty. And I felt guilty because I'm like, Nikki should be there, Judge should be here. They worshipped women who are running for office. They were like, who's running for office? I'm like, I wish Nikki and Michelle were here. They deserve to be here over me. And then it was like the weekend before the elections, and I'm like, what am I doing here? I need to be out pounding the road, So there was a lot of feelings that I was feeling while I was there. So, So yeah. Anyway, yeah. So moving on, I guess. I would definitely follow Women's March on Facebook, Women's Convention, all that stuff. They're putting out great ideas. They really should be leading the Democrats, and I think Kirsten is taking that note. I think on some level. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is like my thing.
Yeah. Okay, I can tell.
My pulse has been like
escalating. No, I want you to talk.
I'm a women and gender studies major. I
Yeah.
work in political science, and I can honestly say that women and gender studies is nothing more for me personally. It makes me sad that it's taken so long for people to see women's rights as people are just learning the term intersectionality in 2017. And if your feminism isn't intersectional, then it's not feminism.
Exactly.
Period.
Yeah.
And they're still not even calling it feminism because there's such a stigma around the word. And there shouldn't be. And I think a lot of the work that they're doing is so important. And I think it's great that they're encouraging everybody to run for public office and, call their Congress people and all of that. But the system is broken.
Totally.
In all aspects.
Yeah.
And white, rich men gain benefit from every single facet of it. So I think it's important that we have people on the ground. It's so much deeper than just Congress and who's president.
Yes, you're right.
There needs to be radical change, and to get that, you have to start at the root, and that's doing the groundwork.
Yeah.
That is how we educate kids. It goes down to everything.
Yep.
And I just hate that it's kind of just I don't know, even like, I could, like, because I'm a women and gender studies major, I can even critique that they had it in Detroit, and it was so much money to get in, because it put so many women at a disadvantage. Women who are in poverty, women who don't have the means to travel, and all of that. So, yeah.
Excellent.
I just think that.
And when you bring that up too on a smaller scale, like, why didn't I say something to that guy who was saying something about my coworker pumping her breast to feed her baby while she's trying to work? And
that's where it starts.
Like, that's where it really should start. I should make him feel uncomfortable, that white boy, to feel uncomfortable about saying that stuff, making her feel uncomfortable, and creating an environment that that's okay. That because I don't say anything, that now I've shattered their safe space where I work. So their safe space, so now they don't say anything. So I don't know what's better. I don't know.
I think for a long time now too, we carried that stigma of either being in charge and being able to say something and confronting an issue, or being a bitch.
Yes.
You know,
that's the other
if she
thing.
said something, she's a bitch, and that's it. And
Way
know.
too serious.
So it was that
you know,
balance for how long that we,
Right.
everybody, especially women in general, had to carry and still do.
And it's something that every woman understands,
Yeah.
regardless of where they sit on the spectrum. And even if they don't, it's a very real thing.
No, you're
Everyone
right.
has experienced it, and it's,
Excuse me,
Well,
you know, I found out not too long ago that I can take a woman's studies class next semester. I'm not sure what the exact name of it is, but I'll go and try to do that.
It's a great class.
You can,
Yes.
to your point about like women on the spectrum and, you know, them dealing with these issues, I remember, recently, well, during the Trump, presidency in the beginning, the first couple of 6 months, you know, people were really hoping that Donald Trump would do more than she is doing. You know, they really wrote on her, they were like, you know, here's this educated woman who, you know, it seemed very progressive, and we were going to get so many things pushed through, even though her father was a Republican, and she, you know, he relies heavily on her, he listens to her, he respects her. You know, we were really riding on the Ivanka wave, and then to turn out and find out, you know, she didn't say anything as well. Yeah, and sometimes she even made it worse. When her book came out, and we were like, who is this book for? And we were like, this book is for wealthy white women. This is not for women in general and getting into business. This was wealthy white women who are housewives and have the time to just do.
Which is not the majority of what we're doing.
Right.
Right.
And it was no substantive change.
it's not like Black women just now came out of the cult with feminism
You're
or
so
trans
right.
women. They've
Such
always
a good
been there,
point.
and we've always gotten the credit for it. White women. And that's why I told you about this a few weeks ago at that protest. Here in like the Brockport community, I get a lot of like attention as far as my feminism and politics go, even though I wouldn't even call it politics, it's common sense in my mind. And even back home, I'm from Jamestown, New York. I get a lot of messages like on a daily basis from people like, oh, it inspired me. And I'm like, why am I the one inspiring you? Because I'm an attractive white girl? There's been people saying this forever, and it's like, it's just people, we have to make people more comfortable with it. And that's why I say like the footwork is important. Like it can't just be, you know, starting at the top, you have to work from the bottom. And it's a real cultural thing, and it's deep-rooted in power and dominance and oppression, and that's where it starts. And it's not just for women, it's for people of color, and it's for the LGBTQ community, especially trans people lately. Been dealing with a lot. Well, they always dealt with a lot. But yeah, it's just, it's like my whole life, I guess the reason I'm so woke is that I was exposed to this from a young age. So it's like,